Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Just Blazor program. Today we have a very special video. As you can see, I am dressed for success, and we are going to be discussing some announcements that I have to make. But in this video specifically, we're going to be discussing .NET 6. I know .NET 6 came out back in January, and I didn't talk about it at all in that entire time. That's my bad. And the reason why I'm talking about it now is not only to kind of have a video to tie you in for the next video, for the tech video that I'm building or making in the background, but also because .NET 7 is right around the corner. .NET 7 is going to come out in Q4 of 2022, according to Microsoft. So I would like to at least go over the improvements that .NET 6 has brought to the Blazor framework and give some appreciation to those improvements. But we all know that the stuff we really care about, like the initial load for the WebAssembly and Blazor server having the connection problems, those have not really been fixed. So if that's all you want to know, well, at least stick around for the next minute so that I could explain to you something real cool that I have in store for you guys that could help you out. And this is going to be a plug, by the way. This is my first plug. I mean, my first promotional product, and in here I have a cheat sheet just for you. There's 19 pages of references in this Blazor cheat sheet on my channel, justblazor.com. So every time I create a Blazor product, I always forget a few things here and there. I always need to look it up on the Microsoft Docs or wherever else, and it's really annoying. So instead, I created a cheat sheet just to help me do that. And I have used my cheat sheet from time to time just to look up, references and stuff, and it does save a bunch of time for me. But if you are interested in it, all you have to do is go to my website, justblazor.com, give me your name and your email, and you'll have the PDF cheat sheet, whatever, in your email, lickety split, so you can save time as well when you do your projects. And it doesn't cost anything to do so. And I hope you trust me with your email. I am trustworthy. Look at me. I wear sunglasses indoors. How can you not trust this? So please consider going to my website, justblazor.com, and get your free cheat sheet today. Now let's go back to the video. So I decided to switch out my glasses to the actual ones because, my God, it was annoying wearing that. So when you are looking at the .NET 6 stuff and you only care about the Blazor things specifically, you want to go to the ASP.NET Core 6.0 site. That's where the Razor stuff is. That's because Razor components, and this is where all the information you're going to find for Blazor. So in this case, did they fix the SignalR issues for SignalR connections? Not really. They still have the SignalR problems, but they have made it a little bit better for the performance at least. But you still have the limited connections. You still have the problems that you've probably been facing with SignalR. So it's getting there, at least. Razor compilers is a little bit better now. No separate views assemblies. That's good. That means you skip some steps when you're creating your Razor components, Razor compilation. Contain generator. Let's see. So that's CH HTML pages are actually, so not actually Razor components. Interesting. Okay. Well, whatever. Moving on. Because you can still use CH HTML in Blazor projects, so any improvement anywhere is good. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about this. I don't care about any of this. Don't care about it. Blazor. That's what I do care about. So the project templates have been changed a little bit. I don't think you'll notice it because we've been using it this entire time. So for us, nothing really has changed. WebAssembly is a little bit more performant, a little bit better at performance, so that's pretty good. You probably won't notice it. It still does have the initial load issue. Like I'm pretty sure that the performance is measured in milliseconds. So if you go from 4 milliseconds to 2 milliseconds, that's really, really good. But you will not notice it as you are a human being that doesn't have the ability to really see that difference. So that means it's still a good step in the right direction, though. But yes, your initial load issue is still going to be there. Obviously, if you haven't used Blazor in the last year, you'll know that it still has that problem. So here's actually pretty good. Blazor server support for byte array transfer and JS interrupt. So we don't need to use base64 anymore. So in case you don't know, a little brief. When you do stuff in JavaScript specifically, when you go into creating like things for media, specifically like images and stuff, you would use base64, and that is really like clunky. It's really, it's not very quick. And apparently Blazor server was piggybacking off of that. So apparently they created a way to avoid converting it to a base64, and they just keep it as a byte array. So a byte array is essentially the same data. If you're using SQL, you could still import that byte arrays through that. So you would you would go from JavaScript to SQL using a base64 and then convert that to a byte array and vice versa in order to do this transfer. Now it seems you don't have to do all that, and you could just use it as a direct byte array, which is really good. So there might still be the differences between the byte array in SQL and a byte array in C#, but I think going from base64 to a byte array is worse than going from a byte array of C# to a byte array of SQL. I believe that is what this means. In case that means nothing to you, what it's saying is that when you do transfers of media from the backend to your database is from the front of the database. In this case, is Blazor server. Oh no, Blazor server is backend. I'm sorry, I'm confusing everyone again. When you go from the backend to the database, it's going to be a lot easier to transfer media files. Essentially, that's what that means. Binding select multiple. Now this is an issue that is really nice to have. So if you don't know what you're looking at here, this is how we do multiple selects, or how do we create an object using select list and select list group. So what you will need to do is when you want to create, let's say, a combo box, which is the input select, which is the drop down box, you would have to create something like this, a select list item. So what you will need to do is take the data and then convert them into the value, the text, and the group. So you have to go through this process. And I believe Blazor, you still have to go through it. At least earlier on when I used Blazor, I remember doing that. It might be one of my videos. But now you have the ability to do it directly, it looks like. So that's pretty good, especially when it comes to multiple input selects. I believe multiple input selects were a bit of an issue for it. So now it looks like this can work. I'm going to have to try it myself. I haven't, but I have no reason to doubt this not working. So that's nice, but I do have reason to doubt another thing that they said that was working. When I'm going into that, where is it? Where are you? It was hot reloading, by the way. That's what I'm looking for. So essentially, here we go. Is it? Yeah. So essentially, hot reloading was a big problem. Hot reloading didn't work in .NET 5. It was really weird. In the beginning, when I started this, Blazor was in .NET 5. I started this in about October, December, around there. And I was in .NET 5, and I knew that the reloading didn't work. The hot reloading did not work. So we're gonna test it out now. Since I never use it ever again after like my first couple of times trying to get it to work, and it always broke everything. So I'm gonna just delete this, and we're just gonna run this real quick. This is the Blazor state tutorial that I'm running, so you can just use any project, but I just want to test out the hot reloading real quick. So you'll get a little bit. So we'll see if Microsoft's correct. Because I just stopped because I didn't bother anymore. So this is where that is going to come out. This is the page that I'm working on. So we're going to write it here. Test change for hot reloading. Oh, it actually does work. So that's pretty good. However, there is a caveat in that. I don't know if you caught it, but there is a pretty big caveat where it seems that for Blazor WebAssembly, it does not work in debugging mode, and that's too bad. So I guess they didn't. They kind of fixed it, at least for Blazor server. So whenever I make my tutorials that are just components and stuff like that, that doesn't really affect the type of hosting model. That's pretty nice. Saves some time. But unfortunately, when it comes to Blazor WebAssembly, you still gotta turn it off and on again. You know what I mean? Oh boy. Okay, fine. That kind of sucks. What else we got apart from the byte arrays and the incremental performance increases, which is pretty good. There's not really much else here. Like, I think there's a lot came from .NET 6, but they're all like back-end performance stuff that it's hard to notice, basically. At least the hot reloading thing is really nice to have. Download, it works for Blazor server at the very minimum. And we're going to go into a sneak peek at .NET 7, specifically the only thing that people care about, which is the Blazor WebAssembly related for pre-rendering. And, just to see if the initial load was fixed. Spoiler warning, the initial load is probably still going to be a problem in .NET 7, but maybe it'll be less of a problem. But if we go here, we're looking at the .NET 7 tracking issues. So .NET 7 hasn't come out yet. They have started, putting articles and stuff out of what is going to be in .NET 7. And the most important thing to me at the moment is actually this thing here. Improve pre-rendering and authentication experience in Blazor. So apparently there is a bit of a problem with this. So The pre-rendering and authentication experience in Blazor, apparently, when it comes to WebAssembly at least, is dog shit. So the issue comes is because whenever you have a Blazor WebAssembly, you want to try to pre-render your static pages. That means that when your WebAssembly is being loaded into the browser, the user still has something to look at. So that's what you want to do. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a catch-22 when it comes between the preloading or pre-rendering of the of your static files and the authentication step that you want to put in your Blazor WebAssembly. So apparently that has been a problem for Blazor, and it's difficult to go around, or at least the way to go around it is much more annoying and has a bunch of errors to go through it. So I'm trying to actually do a spoiler warning. I'm actually working on a video for pre-rendering when it comes to Blazor, which is why it's taking a little bit of time. But this is a problem in Blazor WebAssembly, and they have yet to fix it for .NET 7, at least at this point in time. So that kind of sucks, because pre-rendering is really important, at least for Blazor WebAssembly, in order for you to have better SEO and to have a better user experience overall. Because if not, then yeah, you are stuck trying to load everything up without a pre-render, or if you are using authentication, you might run into some problems. So that kind of sucks for that. And that's really all the most important things, in my opinion, that it's critical for Blazor web framework people. And everything else is fine. Like yes, they have improved it a lot. Like internally, they've improved it. But when you actually put your Blazor framework or Blazor web, website, Blazor web app, whatever it is, on a website or whatever, the user is still going to experience the initial load problem, and you still have the main Blazor issues with Blazor servers, specifically the connection problems with SignalR from time to time, which is that kind of sucks, but they are working on it at least, and it looks like when it comes to at least the pre-rendering stuff, it is one of their priorities here, because it's really top of the list here. So I hope that gets fixed in .NET 7. And .NET 7 is supposed to come out, I believe, in November, December, kind of. So with that being said, I hope that this was good enough for you, that you got all the value needed, because there was really nothing else in there that I cared about inside these notes. Maybe I missed something that's really important. You can tell me in the comments. And maybe you can check out my website, justblazor.com, and download your free cheat sheet. So thank you very much for supporting the channel, and I'll see you later. Peace out, everybody. Like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah.